What if I told you that some of the most famous working-class, unapologetic street foods in America weren't invented by the city that claims them? What if I told you that the city of Philadelphia, famous for its fierce local pride, built a massive chunk of its culinary identity on a geographical heist? Today on Everyday History Explained, we are going deep on 10 iconic foods that Philadelphia loudly claims to have invented, but actually absorbed from neighboring towns, immigrants, and rival cities. We are decoding the tourist traps, busting the historical myths, and listening to the furious locals who know the real history. Let's investigate. Number 1. Philadelphia cream cheese. This is the ultimate corporate heist. Philadelphia cream cheese is not from Philadelphia, and it never was. It was actually invented in upstate New York by a dairyman named William Lawrence. In 1880, a wily New York cheese broker named Alva Reynolds realized that Philadelphia was famous for its high-quality dairy farms. So in a stroke of marketing genius, Reynolds simply slapped the name Philadelphia on his New York cheese to make it sell better. Number 2. The soft pretzel. Most videos will tell you Philly invented this as a street food, but history says otherwise. Soft pretzels were actually created by Christian monks in Europe over a millennium ago. The tradition was brought to the region by the Pennsylvania Dutch. While Philadelphia definitely perfected the chewy figure-8 shape and the spicy mustard pairing, the city absolutely did not invent the pretzel. Number 3. Root beer. Locals proudly claim that Charles Hires invented root beer in Philly to give hard-drinking coal miners a non-alcoholic alternative. While Hires did popularize the drink at the 1876 Philadelphia Centennial Exhibition, he didn't invent it. Mild root drinks like sarsaparilla had been brewed for hundreds of years, and actual root beer recipes existed in cookbooks 10 to 20 years before Hires started selling his, with origins tracing back to Native American recipes. Number 4. Pepper pot soup. Local legend insists this tripe-based soup was invented by George Washington's cook out of desperate necessity during the harsh winter at Valley Forge. However, food historians reveal this is a complete myth. All evidence points to it being a Creole and West African recipe brought over by free West African women who sold it as street food in early Philadelphia. Number 5. Water ice, or as the locals call it, wooder ice. Some claim it is completely its own thing, but our investigation reveals it is simply an Americanized rebrand. It is actually granita, a traditional Sicilian dessert made of water, sugar, and fruit. When Italian immigrants brought it to the United States, the rest of the East Coast called it Italian ice, but the Philadelphia regional dialect inexplicably morphed the name into water ice. Number 6. The hoagie. A widely accepted origin story claims the sandwich was invented at the Hog Island shipyard in Philly during World War I, but furious locals violently corrected the record. The hoagie was actually invented in the neighboring working-class town of Chester, Pennsylvania. The creation is specifically credited to the Di Costanza family at a store called Mom's. Furthermore, historians note the word hoagie didn't even appear in print until the 1940s. Number 7. Tomato pie. This isn't your standard pizza. The Philadelphia tomato pie is baked in a sheet pan with a thick focaccia-like dough, topped with a chunky, slightly sweet sauce, and served at room temperature with minimal or no cheese. The original video claims Italian bakeries in South Philadelphia invented this cheap, filling street food in the early 1900s. But culinary historians and honestly furious locals alike aggressively defend this as the historic culinary legacy of Trenton, New Jersey. As one commenter pointed out, the tomato pie was created in Trenton, not Philadelphia. Number 8. Pork roll. Philadelphia has completely adopted this unapologetically processed meat into its breakfast culture, serving it fried with egg and cheese on a hard roll in diners and corner delis every morning. But the truth is, this is another New Jersey invention. Pork roll was definitively invented in Trenton in 1856 by a man named John Taylor. The debate over whether to call it Taylor ham or pork roll is practically a New Jersey Civil War. But one thing is certain, it absolutely does not belong to Philly. Number 9. The whoopie pie. So the original video tries to claim that just because Philadelphia sits close to the Pennsylvania Dutch tradition, the city can take credit for this dessert. But our commenters quickly shut this down. These cakes were actually created by Amish and Mennonite communities over in Lancaster County. Bakers originally made them as a clever way to use up leftover cake batter, and, legend says that when kids found the treats in their lunchboxes, they'd shout, "Whoopee!" Philadelphia might sell them, but they definitely didn't invent them. And finally, number 10. Scrapple. This highly polarizing breakfast meat is, well, affectionately known by locals as everything but the oink. It's a loaf made from the leftover pork scraps of a butchered pig, combined with cornmeal, buckwheat flour, and spices, which is then sliced and pan-fried. But, this ultimate zero-waste survival food was not invented in Philadelphia. It actually traces its roots way back to pre-Roman Europe and a German dish made with rabbit called panhas. When German and Pennsylvania Dutch settlers brought the tradition to the region, it was adapted to use pork. So, just like the whoopie pie, locals rightfully point out that scrapple actually originated in Lancaster County, not the city of Philadelphia itself. Now let's be fair here. Philadelphia might not have invented these 10 foods, but they undoubtedly perfected them, kept them alive, and honestly, turned them into a religion. They took the food of immigrants, working-class neighbors, and surrounding towns, and made it their own. If you want us to investigate more everyday mysteries, like how corporate greed ruined Philadelphia's hometown snack cake, the Tasty Cake, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching Everyday History Explained, where we uncover why things around us are the way they are. Hit subscribe and stay curious.